Okay, so we want to talk about two watches we've talked about before from Grand Seiko because they're both nominated for this year's GPHG Award. The Grand Seiko Spring Drive UFA is a 37mm in high-intensity titanium that is nominated for the main men's watch category. The Tokyo Lion Tentagraph is a 43mm in bright titanium, a different titanium, in 43mm, okay? They're both two very different watches that bring the two different things that I like about Grand Seiko, which are technical intensity and the way they bring aesthetics and design into the table, into the mix. And, but they both have very different visions and looks, okay? Let's start with the Grand Seiko Spring Drive UFA, which stands for Ultra Fine Accuracy. Now, this is a spring drive watch, which means that it is powered by a barrel, by a wound movement, but then it goes through a electronic little gizmo to ensure that the ticking is as accurate as possible. Okay, they are already very, very high level of this. Okay, so they are a mechanical watch with a component like a hybrid, and it's using electronics to make it more accurate. In this case, they made it even more accurate, and they did this by being really, really geeky, which is they took certain components and put them into one closed packet. And what that does is it makes any kind of moisture, temperature change similar along the whole line. That means that the output is consistent. So it's even more consistent and even more accurate, well, consistent than before. Why they had to make this step, who knows? They just decided to make things forward. It's kind of like Toyota, always one step forward. Toyota and Seiko, by the way, both have very similar visions as to what they should deliver to people. Same thing. Okay. Now, then you compare this to the Tokyo Lion. The Tokyo Lion is it has a tentagraph. The tentagraph is the first Grand Seiko mechanical chronograph. It was launched the other year. The Tokyo Lion itself was launched this year. Whereas the UFA is 37mm, very elegant, very clean. The Tokyo Lion Tentagraph is bold. It's 43mm, different type of titanium, different finish, multi-part case, really strong visual aesthetic. Much younger market as opposed to the UFA, which is a more elegant, classic, clean, mature market. Okay. Now, these both have very different visions. Okay. What I really liked about the Tokyo Lion was that I looked at the case and I couldn't tell how they finished it that way because it's multi-part. So they had to finish all the different parts, but also they're finishing in different ways. And then they've got beveling. So I asked if are you putting this all together and then finishing it? Like, no, we're doing all that. So they have to line all that up and be that precise ahead of time. And this is just for the finishing of the case, okay? They don't even have a bracelet on it yet. Right now it's got a rubber-ish type bracelet, nylon, whatever. But their vision, it's a big, strong, bold vision, and yet it curves. Okay, it's 43, but it's not a thin case, but it's like 2mm thicker than the UFA, but it kind of goes well on the wrist. And let's talk about the way the two dials and faces look, because Grand Seiko is the master of dials, right? The Tokyo Lion has as inspiration the lion that's on the back of the Grand Seiko case back, which you see because this one's a special edition. So you've got this kind of a striated, lined, gold, brown, orange, blondish thing, and it just looks really good. And it's got texture and it's got depth. So if you look at it carefully, you're going to see kind of waves. It's kind of doing like a scalloping thing. I guess is the best way to explain it. But it's strong. It's supposed to be like a lion's mane. Okay, so that makes complete sense in that way, right? And then for the UFA, you've got a vision of white texture. And that's more traditional. They're doing that because they have, this is more like what they do with the snowflake or the Mount Iwate or something, where the inspiration is something that they see. Like in this case, I believe the inspiration is snow-covered fir trees in a particular mountain area. So that is the traditional way that Seiko draws inspiration from what's around them. Okay, sometimes they draw it from the water on the lake of Mount Iwate, in front of Mount Iwate, at a certain time of year, at a certain time of day. Okay, they're that precise. Or they're going to talk about how the inspiration comes from the red leaves that are turning at a particular time, but also coming from the wood that's under generations of tatami mats. It's amazing, okay? So very, very different from the Tokyo Lion, but they both have their own way of interpreting things. Maybe the Tokyo Lion is something that's going to be more of what we're going to see coming in, because they're not just doing nature, they're doing what's inspiring them in certain ways. We don't know. Of these two movements, it's probably the UFA that may have a bit more places to go. Because, you know, Grand Seiko doesn't always they don't module up a whole lot of stuff. They do for some things, but not for others. So we're going to see. Both of these watches are nominated because we just voted our first round for the GPHG. The Tokyo Lion is nominated for the sports category. The UFA is nominated for the men's watch category. So that's what I like about them. I've seen these watches before. I've had them on my wrist before. I've used them before. I like them a lot because they are just different. They're a nice statement of what Grand Seiko is. And the nice thing about Grand Seiko now is that they spend so much time and effort on their different dials that you can find something you like. If you like a white dial, if you like a texture, if you like kind of a greenish, whatever, they've got a lot of stuff. And so they're being very precise in what they're offering to people. And also, but they're very different, right? I mean, at its most basic, it's a different color if you just want a green versus blue one. But on the other hand, they all have different feels and different kind of auras, for lack of a better word. So if you want something strong, rugged looking, younger, the Tokyo Lion might be your thing. It's actually lightweight, even though it looks large as a 43, but it actually wears well. If you want something more elegant, 30, below 40, 37, with maybe a 2mm shrink in width, nice on the wrist, clean circular lines, elegant. Maybe the UFA, the Spring Drive UFA is your choice. My choice would more be a one before the other type thing. I would probably use actually the UFA more because the Spring Drive is very specific in what it does, and I'm not as sporty as I used to be, I guess, but it's a different watch, okay? It's a different piece. I don't know which one I would do. And here's the thing, the Tokyo Lion might point me back to the first Tentagraph. Grand Seiko doesn't really help you make decisions sometimes, do they?